Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, legal prostitution is a big deal at this legislature. On the broadcast today, two courtesans from the Bunny Ranch, Alice Little and Ruby Ray, plus Chuck Muth, who was an advisor to Dennis Hoff. On the Power Pundit panel, Mary Lau, Joe Guild, and more with Chuck Muth on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers. 40 years ago, Hotel California and the theme from Rocky were #1 on the pop charts, and D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal started on the road to becoming Nevada's leading roofing company.
I couldn't be more proud of what we've achieved.
And over these 40 years, we've become an employee-owned company. So when you're talking to any employee, you're talking to an owner.
And here's to the next 40 years.
Happy 40th birthday, D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal.
Nearly 200,000 Nevadans work in retail businesses, supporting families and the community. Nevada's retail businesses generated over $2 billion in sales tax revenue in 1 year, including nearly $700 million to help our schools. Shop around and see all that Nevada's retailers offer our state.
We're the Retail Association of Nevada, representing thousands of Nevada businesses.
Businesses that work for Nevada.
Truck drivers are some of the hardest working people you'll meet, delivering over 70% of America's freight and 92% of Nevada's. When there's a natural disaster, they're delivering critical supplies to help those communities recover and rebuild. Every sector of the economy and our nation's military rely on truck drivers. So let's take a moment to say thank you. On the open road or city streets, our truck drivers are rolling to make our economy and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from Carson City. We're in the state capitol and the old Supreme Court room here. A Republican state senator who's been a leader in the fight against sex trafficking, Joe Hardy, says brothels have no place in the state. He plans legislation that would ban brothels. He admits the bill might lack support among legislators who see the brothels as an economic benefit for rural counties. Sex workers and other backers of the brothels say they're ready to fight the measure. And we are joined by two courtesans from the Bunny Ranch, Ruby Ray and Alice Little, and Chuck Muth, who is the president of Citizens Outreach and represented Dennis Hoff, the former owner of the Bunny Ranch. So let's start out with you, Ruby. What's your response to Senator Hardy?
My response is that I think that all of us who work in the ranches are doing it by choice, and that's what we want to be doing, and that we should be able to make that choice for ourselves, and that it's up to the counties, really, and that's how it's always been. And our county, Lyon County, it was 80% of them wanted to keep us around in the last vote. So I think that he should take note from what the people want and what we, the women, want too.
One of the things he said, we had him on the program a couple of days ago, was that women are affected, whether they know it or not, by working at these ranches in a negative way. How do you respond to that?
Well, I think I know myself pretty well, and I'm smart and I'm educated, and I think I can make my own choices and say for certain that I'm not affected negatively by it. And I think that there's, many of the women that we work with would say the same. And for him to kind of come in here and say that we don't know our own thoughts or we don't know how we feel about things, I find that a little condescending, and I don't agree with that, no.
Okay, tell me about your education level.
Yeah, so I'm getting my master's in communication studies at UNR. I got my bachelor's there too, and my emphasis in my degree is on social justice. So I graduate this May.
Alice, let me ask you the same question. Tell us about your education background.
Oh goodness, I have multiple 2-year degrees in sociology, psychology, physiology, and anatomy.
Are people surprised when they learn the education level that you two have accomplished?
Oftentimes, yes. They are taken aback because they don't expect to find such well-educated women in a place like a brothel. In all reality, it's quite a comfortable location and, in fact, a preferential career choice for many educated women.
There's been a lot of press, anti-brothels over the last few years. Senator Reid, when he was in office, tried to get brothels outlawed in the state of Nevada.
I remember that, yeah.
So this is nothing new. What do you say to these folks that they aren't getting about legalized prostitution versus the illegal prostitution that certainly on the Las Vegas Strip is rampant and out of control. And the same could be said of Washoe County as well.
Yeah, so I think that there's a lot of differences, and I wish that people would take the time to get the education so that they know the differences. Some of those differences are that we have to go through strenuous background checks just to be, qualified to work in a brothel. That includes FBI fingerprinting, a really in-depth background check. And you have to be over the age of 18, obviously. Some counties are 21. Some other differences are that it's all protected sexual services. So condoms have to be used for everything. We're checked weekly through the doctor, and we can't work unless we're cleared. Want to name some other differences?
Oh goodness, there's so many.
There's so many.
The conflation between sex work, which is a consensual industry, and sex trafficking, in which somebody is forced and coerced to work, are simply two different things, and we cannot cross-compare the two. When you talk about the situation happening in Vegas, women walking the streets, I agree wholeheartedly. That is absolutely problematic and something that needs to be addressed. In my opinion, the legal brothels prevent sex trafficking and that illegal prostitution from entering Lyon County. Like you said, we don't have people walking the streets of Lyon County. There's no one going up and down Highway 50 trying to offer illegal services. That's not something that we experience here in Lyon County, and that's because of the brothels.
So the voters certainly made their feelings known.
Yeah.
80% in favor, 20% against. Did that in any way surprise you?
No. So I've lived in Lyon County since I was 13. So I know the people well, I know the community well, and I knew that they would support us. They support the women who work there and our choice to be there. They know a lot of them, had interacted with Dennis Hoff throughout the years. They know what the kind of businesses he was running and that we have freedom and choice. And they also see the economic value to it too.
Are you surprised that there isn't, with all the talk against legal brothels, that there hasn't been more action against the illegal prostitution, especially on the Las Vegas Strip?
I really am shocked and surprised. It's almost a misdirection of energy and effort. They're trying to say they're here to save and protect the women from the brothel industry, but we're not asking for such. You cannot be an advocate for someone without their consent, and we certainly have not asked them to come forward and try to take our jobs away from us. Instead, their energy and effort would be so much more worthwhile being invested in the illegal services and the exploitation that is very real and does happen in Vegas.
Ruby, how did you get into the business?
So I was 20 years old and I was getting my bachelor's at UNR at the time, and I just wanted something that would allow me to have more freedom with my schedule, because education is my passion. I want to get my PhD, I want to be a professor. So I wanted more time to do that, and I couldn't do that working a full-time job and trying to go to school full-time too. So I've always known they existed because I've grown up here, and I just decided to go for it. And turns out it worked out really well.
Did you just knock on the door and say, I want a job application? How did that work?
So I did a lot of research for like 3 months leading up to my decision. I read every article. I did a lot of research beforehand to make sure it was the right choice for me. And then when I decided, okay, I'm gonna give this a shot, I emailed the certain brothels that I knew I would want to work at, and those included the ones that Dennis Hoff owns, and it was because there's no policy that says like we can't leave. We can leave anytime we want, and that's important to me for a student to be able to go to school and do the things I need to do to achieve my other dreams. So that's how that came to be.
How did you get into it, Alice?
For me, I was already traveling around the country as a nationally recognized BDSM and sex educator. One of my peers happened to work at the Bunny Ranch during the off-season. She mentioned it as an option, and it struck me as being very intriguing. I decided to give it a try, and I've been here for 3 years now, full-time employed. Unlike Ruby, I actually choose to do this as my full-time career. I fully intend to do this until the point that I retire.
Chuck, you know, from a political standpoint, it seems like it's an easy shot to go against brothels, but in reality, the public seems to be in favor. And it was interesting, several years ago, a competitor to the Bunny Ranch, the Mustang Ranch, when they converted from the old location to the new location, they opened it up for an open house. And over 3,000 people showed up, and most of them were little old ladies who wanted to come and see what was going on. There's no fear of this industry from the general population.
No, and you know,
and I say the legal industry.
Right. Thanks for having me on. I just have a high school diploma, so you know, it's nice that you included me here. I'm just here for the eye candy. I get it. But you're right. The voters of Loudoun County, I was surprised it was 80%. I wasn't surprised that they won, but 80% is a huge margin on any ballot question. So it was a big thing. Here's what worries me, Sam. A lot of people have this misconception that prostitution is legal everywhere in Nevada, but it's not. It's only allowed in the rural counties, not Clark County where Las Vegas is, not Washoe County where Reno is. And what bothers me is that, as we saw with the gun initiative, the background check initiative, 16 out of 17 counties voted it down. But Clark County had enough votes to overrule the rest of the state. So that's why I think there's a danger here, is that the legislature is so overwhelmingly represented by Washoe County and Clark County that they could force their will on the rural counties, even if the rural Nevada community doesn't want it. And Dennis Hoff understood that. That's why he ran for the legislature, and you're so right. I mean, when we started Women for Hoff, it wasn't young women like Ruby and Alice. They were old senior citizens from the senior senator, and they just loved Dennis. He was just a people person. They may not have agreed with prostitution per se. They may have had moral objections to it. But in Nevada, especially in rural Nevada, it's this whole live and let live attitude that we've had traditionally, and I hate to see that going away just because of Clark County.
All right, let's take a break. More on this topic when we come back.
How do you shed some light on a better economy? Start with growth inspired by Valley Electric Association. We're a member-owned power company that puts Nevada first, and we're doing big things, like providing prosperity by securing renewable energy projects. For Nevada, that means more jobs and more opportunities, all for a strong statewide economy. In other words, together, we're doing powerful things. Visit us at vea.coop to learn more.
Hi, I'm Eric Robnett, owner of Home Energy Experts. Has this ever happened to you?
Honey, did you remember to turn down the thermostat?
Forgetting to set the temperature? Not fun. We can help. Our new smart thermostat keeps the temperature set for your comfort all by itself.
I'm feeling hot now.
To increase your comfort, go to homeenergyexperts.com for details. That's homeenergyexperts.com.
The signs and symptoms of cataracts can start out small with subtle changes in your vision. So don't wait. Be proactive and take your vision into your own hands. If you're experiencing the onset of cataracts or just have questions, contact your eye care professional or call Eye Care Associates of Nevada today. Dr. Hiss has years of experience specializing in the surgical correction of eye disorders and has completed over 84,000 vision correcting procedures. At Eye Care Associates of Nevada, we'll change the way you look at the world.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're having a discussion here about legal and illegal prostitution in the state of Nevada and what's going on at the legislature. And we're joined by Ruby Ray and Alice Little, who are courtesans at the Bunny Ranch, and Chuck Muth, president of Citizen Outreach, and worked with Dennis Hoff on his issues. One of the things that's always struck me as fascinating was that when Dick Gamock, who is as conservative as they come, was district attorney, he and Oscar Goodman, who at the time was mayor of Las Vegas, both said that under the right circumstances that they thought that prostitution should be legal in Clark and Washoe counties. What do you think that that would do to the industry if suddenly it was legalized and got rid of all this illegal and all the problems that are associated with illegal prostitution?
I think that it would be a good thing. It would give women a safe place to work, and they could really do things under their own terms. They would have the ability to say no to people. They would have the ability to run their own business.
Because you have that at the Bunny Ranch, for example.
Yeah, I say no all the time. So you can say no. I mean, you get to run your business the way you want. Like, you become a businesswoman when you enter into legalization in a legal brothel. I have, Alice has, many women have. So I think that it would be a really positive thing for the industry, and it would help us eliminate, the things that are going on the streets.
It's something that I don't think most people understand, is that this is an actual business. It's not just about the sex. It's not just about money for sex, but courtesans are businesswomen. The majority of your job, I would have to guess, is the negotiations before any services are performed. Would that be a correct assumption?
Incredibly accurate. And the reality of sex work is that it is a service industry. It creates public good. We help people with their emotional problems that they struggle with when they may not otherwise have a listening ear. In many ways, my job is closer to that of a therapist than that of the woman I'm perceived to be walking down the street. People have this negative conflation between the illegal world and the services offered there and what the realities look like in the legal industry. It's far, far different, and those that choose to actually look at the facts and statistics will find that legalizing at a full state level would be incredibly beneficial, not just in terms of services provided to the county, but also in terms of economic benefit. We're able to see at the microcosmic level in Lyon County how beneficial the taxation dollars from legalization are. Imagine what that benefit could look like for Washoe and Lyon County. We could fix the schools, fix the roads. It gives literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, back to the local economy for its benefit. That's a great thing.
Ruby, and the other thing, the point I think one should make is, it's not like prostitution isn't everywhere around the globe, period. Do you want to respond to that? I mean, so making it legal and safer for the workers seems to me to be something that should be a priority, not something that we should be fighting against.
Yeah, I mean, they say it's the world's oldest profession. It's always going to be there, and I think when you take away the visibility of it and you try to just get rid of it completely and eradicate it, you're just pushing it farther underground. So women can't be seen, they can't be heard, they don't have any rights. That's what happens when you try to abolish prostitution. So there needs to be visibility, there needs to be regulation. That absolutely needs to happen. So when you take that away, it just makes working conditions more harmful and dangerous for the women, and I would hate to see that happen.
And that's where we have to leave it. Thank you both very much. Thank you, Chuck, and we'll be right back.
Dimitri Prine here for Design Outdoor. Come visit Design Outdoor's store and backyard to see our wide selection of fire pits, barbecues, and pizza ovens, natural stone water features and fountains, and frost-proof pottery. Our store and backyard are located at 11600 South Virginia, just north of DeMonte Ranch Parkway. Visit designoutdoor.com or call us at 851-9499.
Hey guys, are you watching the game at a friend's or the bar again because you can't watch at home with your wife? Or worse, because she kicked you out and kept your couch, your flat screen, and your kids? What's the one thing a man needs when he loses a good woman? A good lawyer. And when he loses a bad woman, he needs a great lawyer. What makes a good woman a bad woman? You tell me. You're the one that can't watch the game in your own home. I'm men's rights attorney Marilyn York, and I represent men in divorce, custody, and family law matters.
Hi, I'm Dave Newman. Remember me? I used to be the house detective, and now I'm a realtor, full-time at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates. A lot of people ask me, how's the market? You know what? It's fantastic. If you're even kicking around the idea of buying or selling, give me a call. Let's talk about it. Call me at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates and just ask for the guy who used to be the house detective, Dave Newman.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, part 2 with our great Power Pundit panel. We've got Mary Lau here, Chuck Muth, and Joe Guild. Mary, I wanted to ask you, with Nicole Carnizero taking over, she's a deputy district attorney. That sounds like that's going to be a whole different majority leader.
Oh, I think so. I mean, I'm sorry, Sam. She does have, she's a Democrat, she's a strong party person, but she very much is a law and order person. She's very detailed to her approach to everything. I mean, I've never seen anybody that can read and absorb a bill that fast. I bet you. And she's actually amazing. So, you know, not trying to flip really quick into something like, you know, long live the king, that kind of thing, or queen. She's an incredible legislator, and she was had proven herself already as an incredible workhorse. I mean, you get in to see her and she's like 15, 20 minutes behind, because some people take longer and everything, but it's meeting after meeting after meeting. Very careful of reading the bills and very careful to really consider the law. And considering there's so many things this legislative session, the Sentencing Commission has come out with, it's kind of a national program anyway, to reduce the prison population and stuff. But they're even going into property crimes, they're going into larceny and theft and petty theft, and they're just like reducing everything, and it has to be disconcerting. And then on the other side, you've got Speaker Ferguson, who's also part of the DA, but he's a child advocate, and he works in that at a very heartbreaking part. So I would say the legislature and the judiciary, it's in a very solid place this time, and there's going to have to be a lot of work because there's consternation over this Sentencing Commission bill everywhere from the prison population to how businesses can conduct their lives.
Chuck, your thoughts on this?
I was just struck by something that Mary said, that a legislator actually reads the bills. That's a novel concept.
She absolutely knows those bills, yeah. And you're right, it is novel.
Yeah, I mean, because we are a, quote, citizen legislature, we don't have staff in the Nevada legislature like they have in Congress that reads the bills and goes through and flags everything. And so it does, and 120 days, and now we're 60 days in, we're halfway through, and you got this big shakeup at the top. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this session closes out. I think it's going to be very different from anything any of us have seen in recent years.
And I don't believe we're halfway there yet. We're on the way, but not halfway yet.
Oh, I like his interpretation.
Joe, you want to just fill in the last part here?
Yeah, Mary correctly characterizes her skills, Senator Carnicero's skills. But the other thing is, this is her second session in the legislature, and so there's institutional stuff that she's never had to deal with before as leader, and Chuck referred to it. I mean, closing a session down is a complicated and very, very sometimes controversial process. So it'll be interesting to see how well she gets through that part of the process. Speaker Fryerson's been there already, one session. So.
Yeah.
Mary, I wanted to change topics on you here. The Review-Journal was doing a story headline, "Companies Leaving NV Energy Could Affect Remaining Customers." And we're just seeing week after week now, it's the city of Las Vegas that's trying to leave NV Energy. At this point, are any of your larger members, like Walmart, for example, looking to leave NV Energy because they can purchase power cheaper elsewhere?
Well, this is going to end up being a fascinating subject because, I'm sorry, sheeples, they voted against question 3, thinking that it would cost them money and not recognizing that it's already there and it's always available. Ray Bacon had an interesting scenario where Warren Buffett buys PG&E after the lawsuits are settled so they control the power lines and grid lines and stuff. It will eventually affect rates. It will eventually affect everything. But you still have to open that market. And yeah, some of our larger retailers and stuff would be capable of aggregating their businesses and buying the load from somebody else. But when you get into this green energy and the RPS portfolios and stuff, it's like, hey, Katie, bar the door. We'll buy from, I'll make it up, Switch. You know, Switch conglomerate, Switch knows what they're doing, Switch knows energy, Switch has my account.
Chuck, it just seems that the public, you know, and I'm not going to blame MV Energy, they defended their business and spent $63.5 million to do that. The opposition only spent a third of that. But the public in the end is going to be the loser here, I believe.
Yeah, and it's something I say when I train candidates, and I say it's not necessarily that a candidate loses because it's a bad candidate, but because they run a bad campaign, and it's exactly what happened. NV Energy was just masterful at that campaign that they put together. They started way, way, way early, and they set the scene. They immediately came out of the gate months and months and months before the other side got engaged, and by the time they did, it was too late. And frankly, I mean, their messaging wasn't anywhere near as good as NV Energy's messaging. And the public bought into it, and I think now we're seeing maybe people who, if they're paying attention, are going to start to realize, oh, wait a minute, how come all of these companies get to choose, but I don't? Oh, that's right, I voted wrong. But that's what's going to happen.
And one of your clients, Barrick, was one of the first to take advantage of this law that allows companies to leave.
Not Barrick.
I'm sorry, Newmont.
Newmont,
correct.
Right.
So this has been going on a long time. It's just, it's now snowballing.
Yeah, and people are seeing the advantage, these big companies, big enterprises on the Strip. So the market is being chased.
It'll be interesting to see how this develops. Thank you all very much. We appreciate you being here, and we'll be right back.
A bird's eye captures its surroundings at different heights. At Brian Culpa Photography, we can make your imagination soar over buildings, parks, cityscapes, and beyond. Brian's images tell the story and get the job done. If you need a new perspective to tell your story, contact Brian today. Brian Culpa Photography. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Hi, my name's Marilyn Miner, and I'm sure you'd agree that Nevada's a very special place to live. I was born here, and my husband and I have raised our family here. I feel it's a privilege to live and work in the Truckee Meadows. I especially enjoy helping my clients reach their real estate goals. Sometimes the smallest details provide the greatest satisfaction. I'd be complimented to talk to you about your next move.
Call Marilyn Miner at Dixon Realty, 742-1280, or log on to marilynminer.com.
St. Ives Florist, for every holiday and every special occasion, for romance. Custom home design. We have the largest selection of fresh flowers in northern Nevada, and we also offer a large selection of unique gift items. Come see me, Lori Ann, at St. Ives Florist, 700 South Wells Avenue, or call me at 333-9190.
Take a look at Pro Group Management and see how your workers' comp requirements can be met head-on. By taking a proactive approach, Pro Group can assure that your company is meeting or exceeding state and federal standards. As you move forward in your industry, Pro Group moves with you, simplifying regulatory tasks, clearing the way so you can get the job done and look to your future success. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Among the guests coming up next week, State Senator David Parks. We'll see you then.